Let's get a little weird. Let's get a little odd. Those sounds you like to hear. We got it going on. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST.
Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the ODDCAST, where we have a very special guest. We always talk about people turning their passion to paychecks. This is a first ever for the ODDCAST. We have Trevor Oakes out in Canada. He's started a company called ABO Bats. They make spectacular, custom-made, and their own bats, but they're really just kind of, changing the game in terms of like your ability to customize your own bats and, how many turns you want on the bat. Trevor, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Good. Just, like I said, just relaxing today. I was excited to do this. This is the first, kind of big time moment for me, I guess.
I love it.
It feels cool, man.
I love it. No, dude, this is honestly big time for us too. We're really falling in love with the baseball community on Instagram. We'll go into that definitely later, but we're friends of Ruben. Shout out to Ruben at Future of Baseball. We've met the basebologist. Super cool dudes. And raised in baseball. Seems like a great young buck as well. So there's a lot of great baseball stuff going on Instagram.
For sure, yeah. Like all those dudes, they're good dudes. Ruben, I haven't met yet. I'm hoping to next month. Mm-hmm. But yeah, basebologist. Tanner and his dad raised in baseball. Amazing people, man. All of them good dudes.
Oh, really awesome. Yeah. So I basically, let's start it off simple. And I really love ABO Bats.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was the inception? I know you yourself played some fairly serious softball and some fast pitch up there up in Canada.
So yeah, baseball. I got back into baseball when I turned. I don't want to give my age away, but old enough to play an old man league. But when I turned 35, I got back into a senior ball league with my buddies who are local dudes. I broke a couple bats, and maybe it was bad bats or bad swings. I don't know, but I just didn't want to buy anymore. So I figured let's buy a lathe and see if I can whip my own up. And yeah, I just got lucky the first time. The very first bat I made was only a little tiny 18-inch bat, and I gave it to my best buddy. He had a baby boy, so kind of worked out perfect timing. But and then the second one, I actually hunted down a piece of wood, because when you go into this, it's a big thing. Wood is the big deal.
Really?
So yeah, it's very, very hard to find very good wood. And me and my partner, we drove around this province everywhere, called everywhere, looking, and it was like a feat to find good wood. And now that we have it locked down, we don't tell anybody where we get it. It's a big secret. But yeah, the very first piece, I went to a local wood mill, and they just gave me like a piece of ash that was sitting outside. I think they used it for tire chocks, for transport trucks. I don't know, but I took this big log home and I whittled out a bat, and it's hanging up in the office here. But at the time, I thought it was a good bat. Like, I was like, "Oh, this is a good job. Pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
But to look at it now, it's horrible. Like, it's so bad.
Wow. Well, we all. I bet it's nice. We all are our own biggest critics.
Yeah, like I've come a long way. You learn, right? Just like doing anything. Like you just get better at practice, and yeah. So from there, my buddies started wanting, hey, can you make me a bat? Just like fellow ball team players and stuff like that. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just throw it out there a little bit, say, hey, I make baseball bats. And it wasn't until I was in contact with, I put it online. I was selling custom baseball bats, and they weren't very, very good. But I was in contact by an ex-LA Dodger system kind of dude. I think he made it to double A.
Wow.
Maybe that far. I don't know. He made it quite high.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then he got injured. But he has a baseball facility, and he had asked me, can I make him some bats? And that's when it like that day was like, okay, this can be a business. Like this can be something bigger than, you know, just me and my shop. So let's roll with it and see what happens.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was very cool. It was cool. We made the trek to meet him. We talked a bit, and when I got home, that's when I really started to like get my feet wet and like, okay, let's roll with this. And that was in 2017. So I've only been doing this for about 2 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, the last year we held back a lot, like on the business end. Like so it was just me. Like I make baseball bats, I buy the wood, I paint them, I clear coat them, I stain them, I do everything. I've even gotten into making my own clothing, like the ABO gear and stuff like that.
Awesome, so, by the way, awesome.
I mean, it was a ton of work, and on top of that, I worked a full-time job too. Like it was crazy days, and yeah, it's like I said, we were holding back because I didn't want to put a product out there that was no good.
Yeah,
I didn't approach any stores. I didn't approach like retailers. I just like, if you hear about me on Instagram, cool. If you want a bat, I'll hook you up. And that was basically it. I started a little time website, like made it myself in about an hour, just threw some pictures on there, and it made it so like I wasn't getting so many text messages. So it took some burden off my phone and stuff like that. But yeah, and then I just like took some slack off, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we didn't push anything until we were ready. And this year, like really, we held back until about I would say December, January.
Wow.
And that's when we really started like pushing. Like this last December was when we started talking to stores. We have a new website coming out. We have a wood lockdown. We have a wood finishing lockdown. We have basically everything we need. We're automated for the basic models. I still make handmade bats every day to customize whatever. It kind of gives it a little more feel. And I love doing it. I love throwing a podcast in or whatever, music, and just going at it, right? So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a trip for sure, and we're hoping that it gets bigger and bigger. And
it will, dude. The thing that you can't replace is the genuineness. Genuineness? Can you say genuineness or?
Sure.
Either way, what you're doing is genuine, and you can't really fake that. You can't replace it, and you know, I think that's pretty evident in how you guys have grown so fast with. Seemingly, like you said, you know, you're pushing behind the scenes, but you're not pushing like basically in a business sense so much as you because you guys feel like you want to get the quality to where you want it to be before you bring it to the masses.
Yeah. So we were making awareness, because you can't make a product that you want to get big and not be seen. You can't just like come out one day and go, oh, I make baseball bats. Here you go. So that people were aware of us, but we didn't really, like, we held back a lot. Like there was the odd social media posts, but now it's like it's time to ramp up and go. Let's do this. So now that we're ready, like I wanted to make sure we were 100% ready, and ramp up time. So
yeah, how was that? Maintaining that patience in the time where you obviously, I mean, you knew that the reason you had to be patient was because you wanted to perfect your craft. Right. That being said, you still have to be patient to not want to post about it every day and want to, it must have been a weird headspace to be in.
Yeah, like it's because you do want to tell people, look what I did, look what I made, look what I did, and to an extent I did. I would, if I made a cool bat like this one right here, it's nice camo, like it's pretty awesome. Dude. Like it's just a cool little bat, and you make something like that and you want to tell everybody, but then at the same time you don't, because like you don't know if you can do that again. So now that we have it locked down, we're ready to show everybody what we do. But it's tough because you want to ramp up to 100, but you want to do it right. And there's people that do that. There's people like that start business and they're just like all in right away. and then you kind of see it flop a little bit because they weren't ready, and that was our plan, was to always be ready, and then now let's start pushing. So
yeah. And it's, I mean, dude, also the grind of working another job must have, like, you know, played into, you know, some of the patients having to be there too.
Yeah, that was another thing. So you could, like, I could start a new website a year ago, work full time, make baseball bats, and then get the word out there, like, hey guys, we're open, let's make you some baseball bats. But then if you get an order for 300 bats, 500 bats, 1,000 bats, it's not going to happen. Not when your days are 23 hours long. Then there's not enough time in the day. So
I totally agree. It's the same way with, you know, we're just still learning how to book interviews and how to, you know, do all the editing and all the stuff. And it's not the same hands-on as you're doing, but it's still definitely, it's a learning process.
Yeah, it's still a grind for sure. Anything's a grind when you're hauling it, right? So
yes.
It's been crazy couple of years, and just now, like when I went to Texas 2 weeks ago to the ABCA, like I met all these wonderful dudes. Like everybody I met in Texas was amazing. Like other bat makers, everybody that had to do anything with the baseball convention. Like it was super cool to like just like be in that moment, right? Like it was pretty awesome. And you see, like you're just a little guy, but they treat you like, oh wow, look at this guy, he's making bats, and it makes you feel like, okay, now I'm a bit accomplished, and now I feel like I'm moving upward instead of grind. So it's
always nice to see. It's always nice. I mean, no matter what, like, you know, not every one of us needs as much as the other, but it's nice for other people to be patting you on the back. It's always nice, and it shows that you've been going in the right direction, because, you know, people do go out of their way to be nice generally, but, you know, if you're getting genuine compliments, that means you're doing something very right.
Sure. Yeah. Like you get like just last night I got a message, and it's the kids that just like players that are, I have no idea who they are. And not to take away from the players I know that tell me my bats are good, but these guys, like there's a lot of kids in California. Yeah. For some reason, I'm getting bigger in California. I ship a bat out there all the time, and like we're places that you would never know anybody, but they message you and just be like, hey, I was in the cage swinging my ABO bat last night. It was like unreal, the feeling this bat gives me, and that right there is like, my job's done. I love it. Like, like I couldn't ask for anything more. It's more than just making money doing this.
Yeah.
When you get that, like it's pretty awesome. When you just like, wow, I don't even know this guy. He's like halfway across the country. Like
that seeps through. That seeps through though. That's what it's about, rather than, I mean, you have the passion. Your passion isn't for the paychecks. Your passion is leading to paychecks, but it's not for the paychecks. It's just and like, dude, not to mention, the sound on those bats does sound sweet as a freaking whistle. I mean,
the new wood is amazing. Yeah, like Tanner's put up a few videos, and man, that's a super loud bat.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a bit about, like, for let's break it down, I guess, for people who might not necessarily know the baseball or the bat game specifically. One thing common term that you always talk about is turns. For maybe people out there who don't know, what is a turn, and how does that kind of play into making a bat and playing baseball in general? So, like, when I got into this, I had no idea. Like, I just thought baseball bats were baseball bats, and then you start learning, right? You know that like my bats that I swung were always a 271. Like, I love that model. And so there's like basic models, and then there's models that kind of, like, to me, in my mind, there's 4 models. 243, 110, 271, and like an I-13. And off those, you would grow. You'd change the taper, change the handle, change the barrel, and there's just so many variations. And now, I mean, there's a ton of models, like a ton of models. So we just created a bat for Tanner at Raised in Baseball. He drew up. He gave me a drawing, and every inch of the drawing was a different increment of the taper and handle and everything that he wanted. Wow.
So I had made this bat for him, and that's the bat he swings in the cage in those videos, and it's so loud. But he loves it, and I made it, and I was like, I don't know about this one, man. Like, it looks a little skinny. I better make another one. So I altered it a bit to make it more like, to me, a bat and less like a fungo. But he loves the original, so we named it the TC42. So that's his model. Right? We're gonna put it on the website, and kids can buy the TC42 model.
TC42.
So cool.
Sorry, what you said? More like a bat and less like a fungo.
Yeah, fungo is like a practice bat that a coach would swing. They're really long and skinny, basically just for hitting infield grounders and stuff like that, pop flies.
Long, skinny, and light.
You don't swing it. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
That's his baseball number. So.
Oh, that's what he. Oh, okay, so it's the TC42.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he drew that himself, and we made it happen, and now it's going to be an available model on our website. So it's pretty cool. Like he's pretty pumped about it too, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, I think that speaks to the power of Instagram in general. Did you guys meet via Instagram or via? And like, it's so cool. Like him doing the giveaway now. Or he did the giveaway. Yeah, that's just like in the time when we perceive social media is so negative. There's so many great and positive things that we can do on it and use with it if you choose to. Yeah,
I mean, we hooked up with Tanner. Actually, the first giveaway we did was with Ruben.
So wow.
Me and Ruben collaborated. We did a giveaway, and it went well. And you get awareness that way, right? Like, for me to make a bat for somebody that wins whatever, that's cool for me because now there's a bat in that area, and now they know about ABO Baseball. So it's just good to do that. And then with Tanner, I just sent them a message and said, hey, like, can I get a bat to you, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, sure. So we sent down a couple bats, and he was looking for something specific. And this is the beauty about making your own bats. Mm-hmm. He wanted to try a baseball bat with a knot in the barrel, like a knot starting. So it was a really dense bat. So I had to hunt down this wood and basically pick through a pile and find a billet like this guy right here. Wow. And we had to find one with a knot like in the barrel area. And it was, when you buy wood like this, they pick through it already, right? So when you buy it, you're already getting the best wood you can get. But when you want something like that, you kind of have to hunt for it. So we looked through the pile, found one. I bought that one, and made him a bat. And he wanted to test out of the two bats. I sent him a normal bat, and I sent him a knotted bat. And he wanted to test if there was a better velo, like an exit velocity off the bat. Like, was it harder? Is it better to swing a barreled bat? And I don't know if he's finished the results or anything, but and then one thing led to another. We just started chatting, and he sent me the diagram of his custom bat, the TC42.
Yeah.
I made it for him, and I brought it down with me when I went to Texas. It was kind of funny. Like, these people were amazing, and they were having a barbecue. And me and my buddy Nick, he came with me. He actually owns a batting glove company called Lumberjack Sports. So if you need good batting gloves, check them out. Lumberjacksports.ca. They're amazing.
Just real quick too, where can they? Sorry to interrupt. Lumberjacksports.ca. Where can they find you as well?
ABOBaseball.com.
ABOBaseball.com, and then obviously on Instagram, just ABO Baseball, right?
ABO_baseball, yeah. And
ABO
then ABOBaseball.com, yeah.
ABO Baseball, yeah.
But yeah, so Nick came down with me, and we actually landed off the plane. It was about 11 p.m. and we were at Tanner's, their house, like Brian, his dad. They were like, come over. And we're like, all right. So we went right to his place.
Yeah.
And just hung out, and it was cool because there was a basebologist was there, and Kevin, his buddy Kevin. And then Steve Delavar and John Madden were there. It was very cool. Nick Shaw was there. So it was all these just baseball people, and all we did was talk baseball for hours. It was amazing. Like, it was really, really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I brought the bats to Tanner that night, and he was still awake. I was like, "Whoa, he's still awake!" But he stayed up for a while. He's a champ, that kid.
Champ.
So yeah, it was a good time. And then we, right then, you know, you get down, you sit down, you start talking to these guys, and you've created relationships with like 6 other baseball people in about 5 minutes, and then the whole weekend, like, we were back there Saturday, watch a football game with them, and then Sunday we were with Baseballologist and Kevin, roaming around Dallas, like, just checking it out. It was pretty awesome. That was a good weekend.
That's great. No, I mean, dude, everyone I've talked to in the baseball community, I'm in the baseball community as much as I know you and Ruben, and I've talked to Baseballologist, and I watch the Padres and watch, you know, I'm a fan of baseball, but everyone that I've talked to has been nothing short of absolutely welcoming, nice, willing to introduce you to anyone, kind of just wanting to spread kind of positivity and good vibes. And I that's an interesting thing. I wonder if that's something about baseball, but I think there's so many cool, interesting things to talk within baseball that it allows such a fun conversation. I'm sure I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
It was pretty cool. Like, you just hear like the funny old stories. Like, we kind of missed the good stories, I guess. We were kind of late, but just the old play, like the old days of the players. They're not old, they're younger than me, but like, they're talking about college days and that they were roommates and all this jazz. And we kind of missed most of the stories, but I guess they're pretty funny. But stuff like that, like Baseballologist, like, wicked dude. Like, this is one of the nicest guys you'll meet. Mm-hmm. And just listening to him talk about like what he wants to do with baseball. Yeah. Like, he loves baseball. He loves the community. And he basically wants to talk to everybody that plays baseball or wants to even chat about baseball just to get their view on baseball. Mm-hmm. Like, it's pretty crazy how much this guy just wants to hear about what do you think about baseball? Why do you do this? What happens if you do that? Like, he just he's into it. He's in for sure.
Yeah, what was his tagline? The first professional baseball fan.
What's that?
I think his tagline on his Instagram is the first professional baseball fan.
I bet it's true.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. It seems like, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. I watch his lives all the time. I'm like, whenever I go, dude, I mean, speaking of which, I mean, I'd love to do a collab giveaway with you. I mean, however we could work that out, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. We can work something out for sure.
Yeah, we'll chat.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to ask you about specifically is, of course, I mean, where in Canada are you guys based? And then going off of that, how I know baseball is gigantic in Canada. I don't think people understand how gigantic it is.
No.
How does that influence not only you as a baseball fan, but as a bat maker? So where are you guys in Canada, and then that second part?
Yeah, so we were based out of Harley, Ontario. It's a little tiny town, probably, I don't know, 400 people. I don't know, maybe 5. It's very, very tiny. I just used to do this in my shop in my backyard, and recently we moved ABO Baseball to a facility, and so we'll get into that in a bit. But now we have an office, we have a little production area, we have a wood storage area, a little paint booth. So, like I said before, we wanted to be ready, and now that we're ready, like, you know, we're ready to roll. And yeah, we moved to Tillsonburg, Ontario. It's a little tiny town, probably about, I would say, an hour and 40 minutes from Toronto, southwest of Toronto, sort of. So we're in the Toronto area.
Okay.
Yeah, what was the second part?
The second part was kind of just like how does being in Canada have, you know, an influence not only on you as a person, but on ABO Bats? You know, you as a bat maker, you as a baseball fan. You know, you got to be a Jays fan, right?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I'm a baseball fan. Like, it doesn't matter what games on TV, I will watch any baseball. Like, sometimes I'll just YouTube old games just to watch baseball.
Dude,
like,
I do that all the time.
Basically, baseball in Canada is big because now it's like 13. If you're 13, like Bantam player and up, you swing wood bats. So all these, I mean, when I was a Bantam, we didn't swing wood till we were like juniors. Like,
really?
We were like 16, I think you had to be. Like, so I always wanted to swing a wood bat when I was a kid, like 12, 13 years old. Like, oh, I can't wait to swing wood bats. I can't wait. And now, like, it just seems like Canada took a boost when all these indoor baseball facilities started coming up. So there's one kind of close to us. It was I would say the pioneer of it. It was the only one I really knew about. Probably 10 years ago it opened up, maybe not even that long. But when I was playing slow pitch, I jumped off baseball for a bit, started playing slow pitch with some buddies, and then it got like competitive slow pitch, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But I love baseball, so. But yeah, like, and then now it seems like every town is getting one of these facilities, which allows these kids to play or practice all year round. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, if it's snow outside, they just go inside and do a workout, and they're still practicing. So it's amazing to have that up here finally. When I was a kid, no. You're playing May till September, and you're done. That's it. So our plan, and it just got delivered today, actually, just got the notice. We're putting a cage up in here in our facility. So this is my plan. And I don't know if I'm leaking too much, but whatever. It's just, this is my plan. My plan is to have a kid or player come in this facility, and pick out the piece of wood they want, pick out the turn they want, and then me make the bat right as they're watching. We have 2 kids coming in next weekend. They're going to be the first ones to do it. So, and while I'm making their bat, right beside the lathe room is a batting cage. So they can hit. There's going to be a lineup of bats for them. They can hit, do whatever. And then as I'm making their bat, I can call them over and say, hey, what do you think of the handle? Do you want a little bit more off? Do you want it? So it's going to be true custom. Like, and
wow, does that exist anywhere? That sounds like it doesn't even exist in the industry.
It doesn't. That's why I didn't want to really say anything, but whatever. I'm the first. Mark it down. It's always been a dream of mine to do that. Like, have these kids come in and make a bat on the spot. And we have some finishing guys that are working on a super clear coat, and basically will dry super fast. And obviously there's going to be some wait time, but we're hoping that then once they're done hitting, once the bat's made, we can paint and either ship out in a couple days or even sooner. We'll see.
Wow, that is going to be absolutely beautiful.
So that's our plan. Like I said, the batting cage just got dropped off, just delivered. I just got the notice on my phone. Delivered right outside here, so we'll be setting that up probably Sunday, and then next week we'll be ready for that action. So it'll be cool. Like, it'll be cool to see the kid. Like, I mean, how cool is it if you're a 13-year-old, 14, 15-year-old kid,
amazing,
and you're seeing your bat made right there, and then it's laser engraved, and away you go. And I think I would love it.
Yeah, dude, that's a brilliant idea. Simply brilliant. Like, honestly, I'm surprised that no one has done it before, but it makes sense that no one has, because you're adding not only bat making, but you're adding kind of a business side to it, but also the human interaction side. It's really, you're encompassing a lot of things in there. That's absolutely incredible. I guess another thing, I mean, it sounds like you do a lot of work for kids with bats. How does that differentiate from your work that you do for, adults with bats?
It doesn't. I just like there's a lot of kids. Like, I used to coach. I helped my buddies coach out like the Bantam team and stuff like that. So helping them coach and like seeing these kids like swing their wood bats and stuff like that for the first time. Like, they're into it. You know what I mean? Like, I love making baseball bats for everybody, and it doesn't matter how high they go and how professional they are. Like, I have like a couple professional baseball players sponsored. And like, I love making them all the way through, like, whether you're a Bantam 13-year-old to professional baseball. Like, so it just, I don't know, like, there's nothing that draws me to it. It's just like, it's cool because they will give you a true feedback. They're not like, you know what I mean? So it's when you see them swing, and it's like instant feedback. So it's pretty cool. And there's a lot of youth teams around here, and I like helping that kind of stuff. So future plan is to start up a foundation. So to help kids, like, maybe they can't get the bats or they can't get the equipment. Like, and we're actually helping a school in Arkansas. They got out of baseball in their high school. They kind of switched over to focus on football, and now everything's football, but they want to start the baseball program back up. So they just don't have the budget to get it going. So we're gonna help out, like get some bats down there, some gloves and stuff like that. So I mean that's what I envision in the future is like we'll start up an ABO Foundation and just help out, like help out however we can. Like we like to do that kind of stuff. So
that's super powerful. That's super powerful. I guess there's two things that I want to ask. I want to definitely ask, like, what is ABO? What does it mean? Because that seems like definitely an interesting one, whether it's a syllable and also, specifically because you guys are, big into finding and sourcing the proper wood, I'm sure. Is Canadian wood superior to that from your brothers down the south?
We get our wood in Canada.
Okay.
I get it in two places. I get it from like northeast United States and Canada. Mostly Canada now, just because the delivery time's super quick. But yeah, it's tough to find really good wood, and especially for baseball bats. Like it was a struggle at first, and then once you find it, you stick to it, and you just leave your options open for it. But and as for ABO, so when we started this, it was just going to be my Oakes Bat Co. But it was too similar to like, Old Hickory and all these other bat companies that are just Bat Co. You know what I mean? Like Bat Co. So my wife was like, well, let's name it ABO Bats. So I still have the original bat that says ABO. And ABO is my kids' names, Audrey, Brandon, and my last name Oakes.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just their first initials. But I Googled ABO bats to see if there's anything out there, just in case,
Of course.
And ABO bat is an actual winged animal bat. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it gets super crazy that it all worked out like this, but it's a little flying bat. And it's called an ABO bat. You can Google it and check it out. But yeah, it's pretty weird.
Dude, that is pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. I mean, a few other oddcasts exist, but there's no one that's just the oddcast. So we had it was a similar kind of cool moment, Yeah, that's great. That's really awesome that you include, like, I mean, I'm sure. Is your wife into baseball?
She likes baseball, yeah.
Okay.
Baseball. My son's 4. He played last year. He played blast ball, they call it. So it's basically hit a ball off the tee, run first base.
Awesome.
He wants to play t-ball again this year, but it's more like I see future stuff like where he's helping me make bats, or when they wear their little ABO shirts to school or something. I think that's cool. Like these kids, like, that's my name on there. It's pretty awesome. So it's bigger than just a name, I guess. Like, it means a lot, right? So. Oh yeah,
absolutely. Trust me. As they grow too, they're gonna realize there's like, oh, Dad was a bad, what.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of like the whole thing, the whole baseball bat thing is like, it's a saturated market. It really is.
Really?
Like, there's a lot of people that do it, but at the same time, you kind of feel like. It's surreal sometimes. Like, I'll get a text message from like Delabar or something, just to, hey, your bats are super nice, or a ball player in California, and you're just like, these people have no idea who I am, but I affected them somehow. I made them a nice bat, blah blah blah, or they seen a bat, they liked it, and it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, it's surreal sometimes. Like, you're just like, whoa. Oh, I'm just a little tiny dude that makes bats in a little shop. Like, it's not, but it feels like sometimes it could be bigger, and hopefully one day we will be bigger, and we'll see where it goes. But
dude, absolutely no. I mean, dude, thanks to you. I want to thank you so much too, because you've given me that feeling where you're like, dude, I turned on the podcast and while I was making bats, and like, that's, I mean, seriously, like that. I don't care if I ever get $1 for this, but to have someone all the way in Canada who's doing something really cool, take the time to listen and actually comment and like comment to me. That's like, I can't put into words how much that means. And I know you're the same way about like anyone who's contacting you near or far about the quality of your work. And because, you know, it is a labor of love, but it's still a labor. And,
right.
you know, I guess the last thing I mean, dude, I'm sure we could talk forever. And I mean, is there, I mean, before or after I say this, I do want to give you an opportunity to do any shout outs.
Sure.
Not only for you know, people who you sponsor, young and pro, and then also just tell the folks what you got going on. I know we talked about the batting cage stuff, but for anyone out there who's listening, I always like to ask the guests to say, you know, whether you're at a desk job and you have to work after the 9 to 5 like you're doing, whether you're stepping away from that and just going full throttle. What would you recommend for someone who wants to take that step of turning that passion into paychecks? I mean, and you know, making that passion basically your life.
Yeah. So there was long days for me, man. Like it was like 5 a.m. till 11:30 midnight most days, and it would be consecutive days in a row, and then a young family at the same time. Like it was a struggle. Like and if I could tell you one thing to like, or anybody that's doing anything, it's like just step back a little bit. And when you get frustrated, you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this for what? Like, why am I doing 2 jobs? It was 2 full-time jobs. Why? You just have to step back and remember why. Like I love making baseball bats. I love like the comments and the feedback I get, and you just can't give up. Like you just got to keep everybody says it, don't give up on your dreams. It sounds cheesy, but it's so true. Like, if there was no struggle, everybody would just do it.
Right. Cliches exist for a reason, my friend.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, just don't give up. Just step back, remember, and then get back into it. Just dig deep and get in there. But, yeah, everything's a struggle. Like, if you want it to succeed, you got to work hard, and hard work always pays off. So, yeah, it's been true, but just don't give up.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And just always you remember, like, you know, you're fighting for a life in your passion. So
that's right.
Yeah. Well, and yeah. So I definitely, Trevor, I want to give you a chance to give any shout outs or any time to, you know, tell the people what you got going on. You know, the time is yours. The time, it's all you.
Okay, man. So yeah. My partner, Chris, he's just texting me asking me how the podcast is going. So yeah, he's good. He's the back end of stuff. Like, and I'm hoping that one day I'll teach him how to make a bat or two. But yeah, just the sponsor guys: Alec Allred, Daniel Barrett, Tristan Delorier. Yeah, all those guys. Babcock he's in college right now. Great pitcher, lefty. You'll see his name, I'm sure. Alec Allred, he's going to the United Shores. I believe that's coming up soon, he leaves. So, yeah, those guys. He just started up a baseball facility in North Carolina, I think it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing some work together as well. And Tristan Delorier, he's a local guy from Oshawa. He's 15 years old. He's down in West Palm Beach right now playing for the All-American junior squad. So, pretty pumped about him being down there. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, there's a couple guys like Lumberjack Sports. Huge shout out to them. We've been working a lot together lately, and I'm sure we'll continue to. And then his buddy,
they do batting gloves.
Batting gloves, yeah. Check them out. They're pretty awesome. He spent his time as well. He was the same thing. He spent his time looking for the perfect glove, and he did it. Spent a year research, and then released them, and they're amazing. And then his buddy, he came out with a training device called the Exit Speed Swing, and you can see it. You Google it, Exit Speed Swing. I think it's exitspeedswing.ca. So there's another cool little apparatus for your bat velo, right, to get your bat speed up.
Cool. And
yeah, just raised in baseball. Tanner and Brian, those guys are amazing. Their whole family's great.
Yeah, the TC42. We're excited about the TC42.
Yeah, the TC42 is going to be awesome. It's a cool bat. Like, yeah, it's going to go somewhere. And then one last guy is the guy that built my CNC lathe, Dave Mitchell. He's actually drawing up the second one, and this one's going to be a super lathe. So we're pretty pumped to see it. It's going to be made custom for us, and he plans it's going to be something unheard of. So
what's a super lathe? Sorry, just really quickly. I just have to. I mean.
Well, he's claiming that it will be super fast to make a bat. And the way he's designing it is, from my understanding, he drew it up the other day, but my understanding, he's going to make it like, instead of an upright lathe, it's going to be angled so that everything falls and nothing's underneath of it. So we'll see where he goes. He did some magic on the one I have now, so it's pretty cool, but We'll see what this one's going to be like. It's something new. Wow.
Well, dude, there's a ton coming from ABO Baseball. I mean, it sounds like
2019 is going to be a big year, like really big. So yeah, and then new websites. I just got the message. It's going to launch Monday. Monday's going to be ABOBaseball.com.
ABOBaseball.com.
There's a custom bat builder on there, so you'll be able to see your bat being made and all that jazz. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, the guys that made it, John Brown, he spent a lot of time on it, so it's really good.
Yeah, so that's at ABOBaseball.com. Guys, go there. A custom bat builder. That's unfreaking heard of.
Yeah, all pro stock wood. Get your bat made by the best.
Yeah, I would say so. And the cool thing is, I feel like, too, it's like you're not just like a bat company where it's like the second that, the transaction's done, the relationship is done. That's when the relationship begins. And
yes.
Exactly, and you seem like you're totally all about that, and that's like a really great quality to have in a company, and
sure.
and in baseball especially, a sport where you need to have interaction with basically a ton of people.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always try and reach out a couple weeks after I send the bats out to most of the people that order online, just to see, hey, how's the bat going? Like, how's it feel? Blah blah blah. Because these guys are ordering online. They're ordering a custom bat that they want, and there's no feel. You don't get to come in and feel for it. But I've never had somebody go, I don't like it. Wow. They've always just loved it. So it's getting better, man. I love it. Like it's taking off this year. I think this is gonna be a big year.
This is gonna be a big year. We're definitely we'll make that Arizona trip happen, man. I'm definitely all on board with that.
Yeah, let's set that up. We'll get some dates together and run it over with the baseballogist and Tanner and his dad and Kevin and all those dudes.
Yeah,
we'll get them all too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we basically covered everything. I'm going to take us on out here. Guys, thanks so much again for tuning into the ODDCAST. Trevor Oakes was a phenomenal guest. ABO Baseball, ABO_baseball at Instagram, ABOBaseball.com. You can go there and get a custom bat. The new site is up Monday. They got a whole new batting cage facility coming to their spot in the Toronto area. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into another episode of the ODDCAST, where we talk about people who are turning their passion into paychecks. And thank you, Trevor, so much for your time.
Anytime, man. It was a blast. Thanks for having me.
Let's get a little weird. Let's get a little odd. Those sounds you like to hear. We got it going on. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST. It's the ODDCAST.